magical treats taste great, but justice and equality taste better. To combat hate, all ad revenue from my HB Kitchen will be donated to trans and LGBTQ charities. Thank you for supporting the kitchen and helping make the world a better place. Mischief managed.
Hello witches, wizards and those who have just escaped from Azkaban. Welcome back to my Harry Potter Kitchen, the YouTube series where we're baking our way through the Harry Potter books, creating magical recipes for every item of food and drink that we find inside. If you missed last week's recipe where we whipped up an incredible Butterbeer Frappuccino recipe, just like they make at Starbucks, then check out the link down below in the description to catch up. And if you're new to the kitchen and you want to see more Harry Potter recipes, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you get an alert every Magic Monday when there's a brand new recipe. Speaking of which, there's plenty more on the way, so let's get to it. This week's recipe can also be found in Chapter 2 of The Prisoner of Azkaban, Aunt Marge's Big Mistake. Back at Privet Drive, we see Uncle Vernon brought out a bottle of brandy. Cheers, Vernon. That sounds pretty sweet. Brandy is back on the menu, and way back in the Philosopher's Stone, we created a brandy cocktail for Uncle Vernon. So this time I thought we'd turn it into a food that everyone can try, even if you don't drink alcohol. Brandy is also featured in the name Brandy Snaps, which is a sweet treat, a really crisp outer shell that is full of caramel flavours. So I decided to take that caramel one step further and create these Butterbeer Brandy Snaps that even look a little bit like ones. I'm going to walk you through the process of how to make that lovely outer shell, and then we'll fill it with our Butterbeer cream. First up, let's get baking. It is really easy to make your Butterbeer Brandy Snap batter. All you need to do is place your butter, sugar, and golden syrup into a pan until melted. A quick trick is to warm up your golden syrup first, either in a microwave or in a bowl of simmering water, and that will make it nice and easy to pour out. Stir through until evenly combined, and then remove from the heat. In a separate bowl, I'm going to sieve in my flour and my ginger to remove any lumps. Stir this together and then make a well in the middle. At this point, I'm also going to prepare my lemon juice by rolling my lemon on a worktop to release those juices, cutting in half and then squeezing out. Pour the melted sugar mixture into the middle of the well, along with the lemon juice. Stir this through until well combined, and you should have a lovely smooth batter that's a thick pancake batter consistency. Next, I'm going to prepare the baking trays by cutting off some baking or greaseproof paper and then placing that on top. You want to take a teaspoon of the Brandy Snap batter and then place that on top of the baking tray. Make sure these are well spaced apart, as they will spread in the oven. Once you're happy, you can pop those into the oven to bake 10 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius or 360 Fahrenheit. Make sure you keep an eye on these as they are baking, as if they go too dark, you'll get a bitter taste when you bite into them. Now, looks can be deceiving here. Even a small amount of batter will expand a lot in the oven, even more so than the cookies that we made earlier in the series. So it's important to do these a few at a time and leave as much room as possible in between them. I'm also going to be rolling these up when they're nice and soft, so therefore you want to do maybe 3 or 4 at a time, just to give you enough of a chance to get them rolled before they firm up. Take your time, practice does go a long way, so if you're nervous, do 1 or 2 to begin with, and then as you build up your confidence, you can do more. As soon as they are lovely and golden, remove them from the oven and you should have this beautiful lace effect. At this point, they will still be very, very soft, and you can see that mine are just touching each other, but it's quite easy to separate them at this point with a sharp knife. Allow them to cool slightly on the tray for a few minutes, giving them a slight chance to firm up, and at this point you can also oil a wooden spoon, which we're going to use to roll them. One at a time, you want to remove your brandy snaps from the baking tray and onto a chopping board, and then I'm going to place the wooden spoon on top and roll that over the brandy snap. Once you've got the seam at the bottom, you want to press down slightly and then leave that for a few seconds until it holds its shape. Pull the brandy snap off the wooden spoon and then place on a wire rack to cool completely. At this point, you want to work as quickly as possible to roll all of the remaining brandy snaps. If at any point they're a bit too firm, it will crack when you try to roll it. So place it back into the oven for a few seconds to soften up, and then keep rolling. Once all your brandy snaps are rolled, you can then leave them on your wire rack to cool. Now you can enjoy these brandy snap nests on their own, but traditionally they are filled with freshly whipped cream, and we're going to go one step further and add some extra butterbeer elements into this by using butterscotch sauce. Now if you missed last week's recipe when we made butterbeer frappuccinos, I showed you how to make butterscotch sauce from scratch, and the Prisoner of Azkaban is all about time travel, so let's hop back for a quick recap. All you need to do is add your sugar into a pan along with your water and swirl until your sugar has dissolved. Bring this up to the boil, being careful not to over stir it, otherwise too many sugar crystals will form and you'll have a grainy sauce. After about 5 to 7 minutes, it should be bubbling rapidly and be a lovely dark golden brown. You can then add in your cubes of cold butter. Slowly stir this in until the butter has melted and then allow it to boil again. Slowly pour in your double cream and then continue mixing. Be careful as this bubbles away, as it will be very hot. You should start to notice the butterscotch sauce thicken up now, so you can flavour it with your vanilla and some salt. You want to allow this to bubble up for another 2 minutes, but keep a close eye on it. If you start to see super dark patches on the bottom or puffs of smoke, this is a sign that your butterscotch sauce could be burning, so remove it from the heat immediately. Once it's a lovely golden colour, you want to remove it from the pan and transfer into a glass jar, allowing it to cool completely before using. To make your easy whipped cream filling, all you need to do is pour your cream into a mixing bowl and then whisk until it forms soft peaks. At this point, I'm going to flavour mine with butterscotch sauce and vanilla. You can add in as much or as little butterscotch as you like, depending on how sweet you want your filling. Continue whisking until it forms stiff peaks, and then I'm going to transfer this into a piping bag with a star nozzle on the end. All that's left to do is fill our brandy snaps, so I'm going to pick them up one at a time and then squeeze the whipped cream into the centre. Turn around and then fill from the other end. And with that, our magical Butterbeer brandy snaps are complete. It might not be a drink, but I'm sure Vernon will still say cheers to that. So there you have it, a sweet treat with brandy in the name, so we're sticking true to the books. Let me know what you think down below in the comments and if you're going to give this one a go. That's all for this week's recipe, but if you want to see more from my Harry Potter kitchen, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell, then you'll get an alert every Magic Monday when there's a brand new recipe for you to try. I'm going to tuck into these brandy snaps, so I'll see you next week.